Happy New Year! Have you missed me? I've missed you. Hey, are you dying to know what I thought of these games, these movies, and these TV shows? Well, if you pledge to my Patreon or become a YouTube channel member, you can watch my Dump of the Year where I talk about all those things. I know this isn't the 10K Q&A video, but that's coming soon too. Anyway, let's get on with this video now. Welcome, ladies, germs, and pachyderms to the first installment of my brand new annual series, Nintendo IP Watch. I should probably think of a better name. The plan is to make a video in this series once a year where I give updates on any changes in the hierarchy status of Nintendo IPs. If that doesn't quite make sense to you, I'm basically going to keep track of whether or not long-dormant Nintendo series got new entries, or if any Nintendo studios shut down, or if there's a change in Nintendo's top 30 bestsellers list, stuff like that. I'd suggest watching this video I made dedicated to defining and exploring what I call Nintendo's IP hierarchy for a better idea of what I mean. If you don't feel like doing that, just stick around and I'm sure you'll get the picture as we go along.
Starting with revivals, let's get the elephant out of the room right away. Is there a way to tie this into the ladies, germs, and pachyderms thing I said in the beginning? Probably, but I just won't bother. F-Zero is back after 19 years, baby! I mean, it's sort of back, but not really. It's just, you know what? Screw the nuance. It's back. F-Zero is back! Hooray! I've already made a half-hour-long video about F-Zero 99 and what it could entail for the future of this future-based franchise I love so much, so check that out after this if you haven't already. Let's just keep moving on now. Don't want to be here all day. Next up for revivals, Advance Wars has received a new title for the first time in 15 years. 15 years! Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. The question now is whether or not our military muchachos have found a new home with Way Forward so as to receive more games at a consistent, if not infrequent pace, or if this remake was a one-time lucky break that will become the day since last game benchmark when it goes dormant again. It's tough to say, especially considering how close this game came to just not coming out at all due to the conflict in Ukraine. Nintendo may not view continuing this series as worth the hassle, but then again, they might consider continuing it and maybe softening the edges that were admittedly already pretty soft. For more on this subject, I recommend checking out this video by Nintendo Forecast. Great video, great channel, totally underrated. Let's move on. Up next, yet again in revivals, it was announced this year that Another Code, previously known as Trace Memory in some territories, is getting both of its previous titles remastered in a collection for Switch January 2024. I don't have much to say about this other than cool. I mean, genuinely happy about it. I might have jokingly said something like, why is it never the niche games I like, Nintendo, in a previous draft of this script? But F-Zero came back this year, so I can just shut right up, can't I? Next up for revivals, simultaneously crossing into newly minted series, it has been announced that Princess Peach will star in a new game next year, Princess Peach Showtime. Thus, the Princess Peach franchise, formerly consisting of only Super Princess Peach for DS, graduates from one and done to series. Time will tell how it's received and whether or not the potential or incentive is there for future prospects, but hey, considering Luigi, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Wario, and even Toad all have separate series under their own names, I see no reason why Peach shouldn't too. Personally, though, I'm waiting for Bowser to get his day in the sun. Maybe someday. Up next for newly minted series, 1-2-Switch has received its first, and hopefully only sequel, Everybody 1-2-Switch. I don't mean to disparage any fans of this game and/or series now, but I'm personally of the opinion that it's thematically boring. One of those Nintendo IPs most people don't even consider in conversations about Nintendo IPs because it's just so generic. I may not be an exceptionally big Advance Wars or Another Code fan, but at least they have settings, world building, history, casts of interesting characters. And if you think I'm crazy for wanting those things out of a casual pick up and play minigame collection, the WarioWare series would like a word with you. Please, Lord, don't let ARMS go dormant before 1-2-Switch of all IPs. Moving on now to the considerably less exciting, newly dormant series, Tomodachi Life passed 10 years with no new entry, April of 2023. Considering there have only been 2 entries in the series, one of them Japan exclusive, yet it's somehow one of Nintendo's best-selling franchises, this is honestly a shock. Maybe you and even Nintendo consider games like Miitopia to spiritually belong to this franchise, and if that's the case, forget I said anything about the IP in general. But according to the Video Game Sales Wiki, the 2 Tomodachi games alone have sold gangbusters, enough to put it in the top 20 highest-earning Nintendo IPs. Very weird there's still no sign of at least Tomodachi Life HD like they did for Miitopia. Next in newly dormant news, Flipnote has passed 10 years with no new entry last July. Without a microphone, stylus, or camera, it makes sense why the Switch hasn't gotten a Flipnote of its own. Fingers crossed their next system will have the features to accommodate this type of experience in the future. Now for the last segment of the show, miscellaneous items of interest. Vanpool, the studio behind the Tingle and Dylan's Rolling Western games, have closed its doors. A massive shame. They've still been working, mainly as support for the recent Kirby games, up to this year, but I guess for whatever reason they couldn't keep the lights on. And without a venue for simple yet robust eShop games, I guess I can see why. Darn shame. Super big bad shame. I sincerely hope the minds and makers behind Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers find work within Nintendo and are someday allowed or asked to continue that series, because those games and that one in particular, Dead Heat Breakers, seriously quality. I want to see what else those creators might have to offer the gaming scene for the future. Next miscellaneous item. The Pikmin series has seen a significant boost in popularity following the release of Pikmin 4, as well as Pikmin 1 and 2 on Switch. Lots of memes, merchandise, and marketing for Captain Olimar and friends. You love to see it. Pikmin has been among Nintendo's top 30 sellers for a long time, but has always been perceived as a low-priority franchise before now. Fingers crossed its perceived infrequency blooms into undeniable consistency from now on. Pikmin 5 while I'm alive. Pikmin 5 while I'm alive. Pikmin 5 while I'm alive! Next item, Mario RPGs are so freaking back! Perhaps the two most beloved Mario RPGs in history, Super Mario RPG and Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, have been/are being remade for Switch. What will this mean for future Mario RPG games? Time will tell, but hopefully, Nintendo will attempt to meet the creativity standards of these games rather than the mediocre offerings from the 2010s. And now for the final item of interest. With the release of WarioWare Move It, WarioWare has officially received 2 new titles on Switch released a mere 2 years apart. 2's a coincidence, 3's a pattern and all that, so I don't know if it's safe to say the WarioWare series is, constant at this juncture. But this does beg the question, is Rhythm Heaven in danger of going dormant for the first time ever? To this day, the series has never passed over that dreaded decade of dormancy since its inception, but if we don't get a new release before 2025? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that front, but if that team in Nintendo EPD 7, aren't handing over Rhythm Heaven responsibilities to another studio or working in partnership with them at the same time they've been doing these, WarioWare games, the likelihood that Rhythm Heaven will see its first decade of dormancy, it's beginning to look a little bit more likely. But, again, they could announce one to be released next year or the year after that. We've still got time.
This has been Nintendo IP Watch. Is that really the name I'm sticking with? Thank you for watching, and stick with me in this new and exciting year of 2024 to see what else lies in store for the studios and properties under the gaming sect of the ever-widening Nintendo umbrella. Same place, same time next year? Who knows what might happen? Will Urban Champion become the first Nintendo IP to ever get revived from dormancy twice? Before Mother? Stranger things have happened. Nobody was suspecting everybody want to Switch, right? Really makes you think.